The rain hit the window pane like soft static, tapping in uneven rhythms. Alexa stared at her ring light, her fingers trembling over the Go Live button on her laptop screen. "Okay." "Deep breath," she whispered, straightening her hoodie. The apartment behind her was small but clean. A bookshelf, a fake plant, and one dimly lit hallway that led to her bedroom. It wasn't supposed to be like this. Her TikTok was blowing up. Her last short horror video, about the haunted mirror she found at a garage sale, had crossed 2 million views in 2 days. People were demanding she go live. Do it at midnight. Film the mirror. Do Bloody Mary. Do something real. And Alexa, 24, single, trying to stay relevant, knew she had to give them more. So here she was. Ready, sort of. She hit the button. "Hey guys, it's 12:03 a.m., she said, trying to smile into the camera. Her voice cracked. "You wanted the mirror, so here it is." She panned the webcam to the antique mirror, leaning against the wall. It was tall, cracked in the upper right corner, with vines carved into the wooden frame. Something about it felt wrong. Not just creepy old wrong, but off-tune, like a violin string pulled too tight. The live comments started flooding in. "This better be real, Lowell girl, that mirror got demons. Where did you get that do the Bloody Mary thing?" Alexa read them out loud nervously. "You guys really want me to do Bloody Mary?" The screen filled with, "Yes, say it 3 times. Do it, T, turn off the lights, sir." She laughed, uneasy. Okay, but if something drags me to hell, you guys owe me coffee." She walked toward the hallway bathroom, the stream still live. The mirror in there was small and foggy. She turned off the light. The screen went almost black, lit only by hallway glow. She stared into her shadowed reflection and said, "Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Thud." Alexa froze. That sound hadn't come from the bathroom. It was from the main room. Something had hit the bookshelf. She stepped back out, confused, the live camera jittering as she moved. Her chat exploded again. "What was that?" "I saw something move." "Bro, the mirror, play it back. I swear there was a face." Alexa turned back to the main mirror. Her ring light flickered. The mirror was fogged from the inside. She hadn't touched it. Alexa leaned closer, heartbeat thumping. As she wiped a hand across the glass, something cold met her palm. Not the glass, but resistance, like another hand. On the other side, she gasped, stumbling back. The livestream chat turned into chaos. There was a hand. "Stop, stop, stop. This isn't a joke anymore." I saw a smile. Alexa's breathing quickened. She checked behind the mirror. Nothing. Okay, probably just condensation. Or lighting, right? She said out loud, more to herself than the stream. She went to sit back down, but froze. The hallway light was off. She hadn't turned it off. And the door to her bedroom was now slightly open. Her eyes narrowed. Number I closed that. She remembered clearly. It made her feel safer. A sound played in the background. Not from her room, but from her laptop speakers. It was the stream playback. Someone was screen sharing it on the live. Only now, the footage being replayed showed something she hadn't seen. In the bathroom mirror, a face, pale, wide eyes, black, toothless mouth, standing just behind her. Alexa's voice cracked. "Who's playing that? Is that edited?" She looked behind her. Nothing. She closed the laptop. The sound stopped. For a moment, the apartment was silent, except the faint drip. 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 She turned toward the sink. No leak. The sound grew louder. She followed it. To the bedroom. The door creaked open wider as she stepped closer. Her stream was still running, and thousands of viewers were still watching. She didn't know, but they were seeing something else. They were seeing her, staring at the hallway. But in the mirror beside the camera, behind her, something was standing. Tall, bent, wrapped in shadow. Watching. The comments came fast. "Behind you, turn around right now, it's moving, ya girl. This ain't content anymore. Get out." But Alexa couldn't hear them. She stepped into the bedroom. The light flicked on by itself. And on her wall, written in condensation, or something worse, were the words. Alexa backed away from the bedroom door slowly, her hand shaking as she reached for her phone. The words, "We are still live," were starting to fade from the wall, like fog vanishing under heat. But they were real. She saw them. she hadn't imagined it. She dialed her best friend Jamie, the only one who wouldn't think this was just content. Pick up. Pick up. Click. Alexa? Jamie's voice was groggy. It's past midnight. Are you okay? There's something wrong. The mirror. The live stream. It's doing things I didn't set up, Alexa whispered, her voice trembling. People are seeing things behind me. The mirror fogged from the inside. My hallway light turned off by itself. There was a pause on the other end. Then, you're scaring me. Turn off the stream. I tried. It won't end. It's like it's streaming by itself now. Jamie didn't laugh. I'm coming over. Just hang tight. No, don't. I don't think it wants anyone else here. Jamie, the last time I looked into the bathroom mirror, there was something behind me, but only the camera saw it. Alexa. Suddenly the line cut off. Bzzzt. A sharp, high-pitched screech blared through her phone, like a distorted modem dial tone from the 90s. The screen flashed white, then black. Her phone was dead. She stood frozen in the center of the room. The only light now was from the ring light, still casting that harsh, artificial glow on the main mirror. The chat window was going insane, greater than symbol phone glitch ? Who else heard that noise? This isn't fake. This time check your closet. Please, check it. Your reflection isn't moving right. Alexa blinked. She slowly turned toward the mirror, and that's when her stomach dropped. In the reflection, she was standing there. Same clothes, same expression. But the reflection was breathing. Slower. Just slightly out of sync. She lifted her right hand, the reflection delayed by half a second. No, she whispered. She moved closer, and the reflection smiled. She didn't. She staggered back, knocking over a chair. The mirror flickered like a TV screen switching channels, and for a brief second, just a flicker, she saw the thing that was pretending to be her. Same face, but sunken, too pale, eyes too wide, no irises, just white, and behind it a hallway, but not hers. A burnt blackened corridor with wires hanging from the ceiling, something crawling on the walls. Alexa screamed and ripped the webcam cord out of her laptop, but the stream didn't stop. She stared at the screen. Her face was still there, still live, still moving, but not matching her movements anymore. And now, viewers were leaving messages that chilled her blood. My screen went black for a sec, and now it's showing my room, bro. The stream is glitching. It showed my face for a frame. I feel like I'm being watched now. Is this a curse or something? It's spreading. Turn it off. One user sent a message with a screenshot. Alexa's chest tightened. It was her, in the live stream. But standing in the burnt hallway, she saw in the mirror. Behind her, something was coming up the wall. Long limbs, no eyes, just a slit of a mouth stretched unnaturally wide. What the hell is this? She slammed the laptop shut. Silence. For a moment, she stood there, chest heaving, staring at the closed screen. Maybe it was finally over. Then, tap, tap, tap. She spun around. The mirror, the main one in the living room. It was fogging up again. Letters were appearing, slowly, like written by a finger from the other side. Open us. The S sent a chill down her spine. Not me. United States. She didn't move. Bzzzt. Her phone lit up, even though it was dead. A video file was auto-playing, from an unknown number. She tapped it open, hands trembling. It was a recording. From Jamie's perspective. Her front door. Rain. A knock. Jamie opened the door. Alexa, are you okay? Then the camera shook violently. Jamie screamed, and the phone hit the floor. Heavy footsteps, a dragging sound. Something whispered low into the mic, not in any known language. Then static. Alexa was on the floor, hyperventilating. Her chest felt tight. She couldn't move, couldn't think. Then suddenly, the laptop dinged. It had turned back on. No hands, no input. It was playing a clip of Alexa from a few minutes in the future. In the clip, she was screaming at something in her bedroom, crawling backward across the floor. But the real Alexa was still in the living room. What is this? She whispered. She stared at the timestamp. 12:45 a.m. It was only 12:18 a.m. now. She hadn't lived that moment yet. Outside the apartment, someone rang the bell. Not a knock, a ring. She stared at the door, heart pounding in her throat. It rang again and again, until the sound changed, warped, became distorted, like a corrupted MP3. Ding 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 ding. Then silence. The power cut. Pitch black. The only light now was coming from the mirror, faintly glowing, not reflecting anything anymore. Instead, it was showing her apartment from above, as if viewed by a security camera from the ceiling. Alexa couldn't move. She was inside her own room, watching herself from a perspective she couldn't possibly have. The chat came back, somehow still live. I don't like this. Why is it watching from the ceiling? Is this like pre-recorded? She's gonna die at 12:45. Unplug the mirror. Smash it. Alexa grabbed a hammer from the kitchen drawer. Enough was enough. She stormed toward the mirror. Her reflection stared back, grinning now. Say goodbye, it mouthed silently. She screamed and swung the hammer. Hard. Crash. Glass exploded. The lights came back on. The apartment was empty. Still. Her laptop sat there. Off. Her phone was black again, and the mirror lay in shards across the floor. She dropped the hammer and collapsed to her knees, sobbing. Then, one shard twitched. Just a tiny twitch. It slid an inch, then another. The shards began to slowly pull themselves together, like something on the other side was forcing them to realign. And from the cracks between the pieces, a faint light began to glow, and whispering began again, louder this time. Every screen in the room, her TV, her phone, her microwave panel, lit up, and they all displayed one phrase: "We are still live." The room smelled like burnt plastic. Alexa sat on the floor, hands cut from broken glass, blood dripping slowly down her wrist. The mirror, or what was left of it, still pulsed like a dying heart. Its shattered shards weren't still. They were moving again. Tiny scratches echoed across the wooden floor. The largest shard, still cracked, had Alexa's reflection, but it was smiling. She wasn't. "Why?" she whispered. "Why won't it stop?" The laptop opened by itself again, this time without a sound. No whirring fan, no startup chime, just video. It was a new stream. Title: Alexa's final broadcast, 12:45 a.m. It had already been live for 6 minutes. She hadn't started it. It showed her, not sitting on the floor, but standing in the middle of the hallway, whispering to someone off camera. Alexa looked behind her. No one there. She watched the screen. The other Alexa lifted her hand. Behind her, a second figure stepped into frame. Tall, faceless, skin like raw wax melting down bone. Her own voice from the stream said, "Don't worry, they're all watching now." Alexa slammed the laptop closed again. This time she unplugged it, pulled the battery, but it kept running, glowing dimly through the case like something alive. 12:53 a.m. Her apartment was silent, but outside, sirens, distant, stretched like echoes underwater. A dog barked, then yelped, then silence again. She peeked out her window. The street was wrong, empty, not just quiet, still. Even the leaves on the trees weren't moving. No cars, no light in other buildings. Her entire world looked paused, frozen in frame. She turned back and saw it. A new message written in blood, dripping down the wall. Every eye is a camera. She turned around in slow horror. Her webcam light was off, but the red recording light blinked anyway. Her phone, face down, vibrated again. A new video had been saved automatically. She hadn't filmed anything. She tapped it open. It was from her bedroom, but not from her phone's camera. It was from the inside of her closet, recording the room, as if something had been watching her sleep for days. She dropped the phone. Number no. The chat window on the unplugged laptop popped up again. I can see her closet too. WTF. I swear it just showed me on my screen for a second. B-row. This stream is infected. She's not the only one streaming anymore. I can't turn this off. I'm not even on YouTube. This thing is watching us now. 1 a.m. Alexa pulled the breaker switch. Full blackout. Pitch dark. Only the mirror shards still pulsed faintly. They had reassembled, imperfectly, into a twisted oval shape. And in the reflection, she saw not her apartment, but a burned-down radio studio. Charred walls, old 1960s equipment, rusted, sparking. On the wall, a logo. WZTR 97.4 FM, the station that never died. A voice whispered from the mirror. You heard us, long before you saw us. She remembered something. Her last live stream's background music, a royalty-free lo-fi track. She'd pulled it from an obscure archive labeled WZTR Vault Loops. She'd chosen it because no one else used it. The track was unsettling, static, warped voices under the beat. What if it wasn't a track? What if it was a signal? She opened her music folder. That same lo-fi file was there, but now renamed. Welcome Alexa Wav. She didn't open it. She didn't have to. It began playing on its own. Low static. Then. Now. Broadcasting. From the other side. The mirror's light turned red. Her laptop blinked again. And this time, her livestream chat was filled with usernames she didn't recognize. And they weren't typing. They were just watching. Line after line. Listener, Eruthratin or Dead Air Watcher. Mirror host, 997. Echoing glass. Jamie is still listening. She stared at the last one. Jamie. She typed into the chat. Jamie, are you there? For the first time, one message appeared. Jamie is still listening. It's inside the mirrors. We made a network. We can't turn it off. Don't look at yourself. If you see yourself blink, it's not you anymore. Alexa backed away, shaking. She turned toward the mirror. Her reflection stared back, and then it blinked. Before she did. 1:12 a.m. Her apartment lights turned back on, but not yellow. Red. Emergency light. Like a broadcast warning system had activated. Her microwave beeped. The screen said, emergency signal active. Tar live. Channel 0. Every screen she owned now broadcast the same phrase. We are still live. The red emergency light from her microwave flickered like a pulse. Slow, steady, unnatural. We are still live. It was written now across every screen. TV, laptop, phone, fridge display. Even the damn toaster blinked it in glitchy digital font. Alexa stumbled back against the wall, blood drying on her hands, her breathing shallow and fast. What are you? She screamed, staring at the reformed mirror. The mirror didn't reflect anymore. It showed a broadcast. A low-resolution black and white image of a man sitting in front of a microphone. 1960s haircut, wide smile, staring directly into camera. Behind him, burnt walls. A fire had already eaten part of the room. The man didn't blink. He spoke. This is WZTR 97.4 FM, your station between the static, broadcasting live from beyond, and tonight's guest is Alexa Morgan. She screamed. The figure looked up, and for the first time, the man's mouth tore open far too wide, stretching down to his chest, revealing a second face inside. The inside face was hers. Flashback, 1966, WZTR studio, 2 a.m. The room was full of smoke and screams. The building was burning. A radio technician slammed the emergency broadcast button, but nothing went out. The fire had started in the recording booth after a sound engineer named Victor Crane played a vinyl marked "Forbidden Signal, Test Only." The loop was non-audible, just static. Yet every single employee in the building heard something different. One heard their dead mother crying. One heard a baby laughing inside the walls. One began cutting their own eyelids off, screaming about the watchers. Within 9 minutes, 14 people were dead. The fire consumed the building. The only thing that survived was the master control mirror in the studio. It was built into the console to reflect the DJ's face to the camera for promotional photos. After the fire, it was recovered intact, but it didn't reflect anymore. It broadcasted, and anyone who looked too long into it was seen. Alexa's walls began bleeding again, not just messages, but faces, impressions, as if people were trapped inside her wallpaper, pressing through. She could hear them whispering from inside the paint. Your face was all we needed. Your voice opened the loop. Your viewers are ours. Her chat was now filling with impossible messages, greater than smile emoji. I can't leave the stream. I closed YouTube. It's still playing. I see myself in the screen, and I'm not moving. Help, 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 help. Your bestia is playing on my TV. I don't even have internet. I muted the stream, and it's still talking to me. I think it's inside me. I'm starting to say the words before they appear on screen. She's not Alexa anymore. 1:30 a.m. Alexa reached the breaker box again. She ripped the wires out. Total blackout. Nothing. Silence. And then, her own voice echoed from the mirror. I shouldn't have gone live. The mirror showed a future version of her, standing in front of a flaming city skyline. Smoke, screams, screens everywhere. Phones, drones, billboards, all broadcasting her face. And behind her, dozens of mirror-faced people. Drones, empty of soul. Each one wore a smile, identical to hers. She screamed and punched the mirror again. This time, it didn't break. Her fist hit solid stone. The surface rippled, like liquid screen. A voice behind her whispered, right into her ear. Say it. Say the broadcast phrase. Make it permanent. She turned around, but there was no one. Just static floating in the air, like smoke made of signal. She ran to her neighbor's door, banged it frantically. No answer. She kicked it open. Inside, her neighbor's TV was on, showing Alexa's stream. But the apartment was empty. No, not empty. On the couch sat a shape, wrapped in a blanket. Its face turned slowly toward her. It was Jamie. Only wrong. Eyes blacked out, mouth stitched in signal lines, like tracking glitches on old VHS tapes. She opened her mouth, and in a chorus of 3 distorted voices, she said, "We're not just watching anymore. We're coming through." Alexa ran back into her apartment, grabbed her phone. It turned on automatically. The camera app opened by itself, and it wasn't showing the front or back view. It was showing the same burned radio studio from 1966. Inside it, Alexa. Another version, older, tired, trapped in glass, screaming. But there was no sound. Her own reflection was begging her to shut it off. But the stream continued, and the chat, now displayed, greater than countdown started final sync at 2 a.m. She's going to merge, she's going to join the loop. We are all live. The stream came back on, by itself. Alexa hadn't touched the controls. Her hands were shaking, phone tossed aside, her back pressed against the wall, gasping. But the streaming software reopened, OBS flashing red. Live, and her webcam light blinked on again. She stared in disbelief. The mirror in the frame wasn't reflecting her apartment anymore. It was showing a room she didn't recognize. Old, dusty, rusted sound panels, a cracked mic stand, torn posters, half hanging from the walls. 96.6 midnight frequency, the voice that never sleeps. "What the hell is this?" Alexa whispered. Her chat exploded again. "This isn't her apartment. She's somewhere else now. Look. Old radio tower. This looks like that abandoned station downtown. Turn it off." Alexa tried. She slammed the laptop shut. The light stayed on. The mirror flickered. And then, inside the mirrored radio station room, a figure entered the frame. A woman, or what looked like one. Black dress soaked at the hem, hair hanging wet and matted. Her head twitched, like a faulty video frame skipping every few seconds. Her face was blank. No features, just skin stretched smooth where eyes and mouth should be. But the way she tilted her head, she saw. Alexa backed away. She picked up her phone. "Chat, tell me you see this too. Please." The chat didn't answer right away. Just emojis, faces with wide eyes, skull symbols. Then, "Why is your mirror showing my room?" "Alexa, my screen is glitching. I can see myself in your background. I swear to God I just saw her behind me. I'm not watching anymore, sorry." People began logging off. The number of viewers dropped from 2,800 to 2,100 in under a minute. But the thing in the mirror only grew closer. Now she was at the front of the mirrored frame, staring straight through the camera. Alexa moved to unplug her modem, kill the stream completely. Before she could, the mirror blinked again. This time, it showed Alexa herself, but it wasn't a reflection. The mirrored Alexa was smiling. Real Alexa was crying, terrified, but her mirrored self. She looked calm, serene. A black shadow crawled slowly up the walls behind her in the mirror. Her mirrored self lifted a hand and waved, and then wrote something into the dust on the mirror glass. "I'm ready now." Alexa's phone rang. Blocked number. She answered instinctively. "Hello?" A whisper on the other end. "Turn around." She dropped the phone. From the corner of her eye, she saw something move behind her in the real apartment. But when she turned, nothing. The mirror, however, showed someone standing just behind her, one hand raised to her neck. But she felt nothing. The pressure built in her ears, like altitude sickness. Her vision pulsed red at the edges. Then, chat exploded again. "Your reflection isn't you anymore. I screenshotted it." She blinked, but you didn't. "Guys, this isn't entertainment, this is a curse." Alexa took the laptop and slammed it shut, pulled the plug, yanked cords from the wall. Everything went black. Silence. Her breath echoed too loud, but something was still running. She noticed a glow behind her. The mirror. It was still lit, streaming. Not her reflection, but a camera feed of her face. And on the surface of the mirror, viewers' chat messages scrolled silently, backwards, but readable. This is how she spreads. If you're seeing this, it's already too late. Don't look at her in the eyes, not even a reflection. And then, the final blow. The mirrored feed zoomed in. Her reflection leaned close and whispered, mouthing words, no sound. Alexa leaned forward, trying to read her own lips in the mirror. 5 words. "I'm not in here alone." Then her reflection turned away from the glass and looked over its own shoulder, as if something was coming from behind her inside the mirror world. And just before the image cut out, her mirrored self screamed silently and was yanked out of frame by something unseen. Alexa stared at the dark mirror. Only her real reflection returned, and she knew she'd traded places. She wasn't sure how or when, but she was no longer the Alexa from this side, and whatever came back through the stream, it was still smiling. The stream was off, the apartment was silent, but Alexa could still hear chat notifications, pings, one after another, as if messages were coming in. But her laptop was unplugged, Wi-Fi router smashed, phone turned off. The sound was coming from inside the mirror. A soft, high-pitched tone joined it, like an old emergency broadcast test. Thin, piercing, not quite human. Then something new appeared on the mirror's surface. Not Alexa, not the shadow woman. This time it showed her room, empty, except for a blinking cursor, like a text box waiting for input. Alexa took a black Expo marker and carefully wrote on the mirror's surface, "Who are you?" No reply. She waited. Then, slowly, one letter at a time, a reply began appearing beneath her handwriting, etched from the inside. "We watched you. Now you watch us." Her phone, which should have been off, suddenly lit up and rang. Unknown number. Again. Trembling, she answered. She didn't speak, but a voice came through. It sounded like her own, but not quite. As if it had been filtered through tape, slowed down, and looped. "This is your final stream." Then silence. The phone screen flickered to static, then text scrolled across it. "Live in 6 hours," Alexa screamed. She ran, outside, onto the street, cold night air stabbing her lungs. No makeup, barefoot, people staring. She didn't care. She found the nearest police station. Inside, she tried to explain, breathless, wide-eyed, talking too fast. They thought she was having a mental break. She was told to sit. Then, a female officer came out. Officer Lang. She asked for Alexa's phone, checked it, blank. No strange messages, no call logs from unknown numbers. Then Alexa said, "It's the stream. You need to see the stream." I ended it, but Lang raised an eyebrow. "Ma'am, your stream is still live. We just pulled it up." They opened YouTube, and sure enough, Alexa was live. But it wasn't the real Alexa. It was someone else, sitting on her bed, wearing the same clothes, smiling at the camera, rocking slowly back and forth, even waving. The worst part, behind the woman on screen, something moved in the mirror. The feed crackled. Then the imposter leaned close and whispered into the mic, "She's safe. With us now." The officer stared. What the hell is this? Then the power cut. Total blackout. When the backup lights came on, Alexa was gone. Not just missing from the chair, Every camera inside the police station glitched at the same time. In the footage, Alexa turned, looked into an off-screen mirror, and vanished. Jake, a fan who had watched every stream religiously, was home. He hadn't slept. Couldn't. The last stream kept replaying in his head, especially the moment when Alexa's reflection looked into the camera and mouthed his name. He hadn't told anyone. But now, as he passed his bathroom mirror, it flickered. For a split second, he saw a second version of himself. Standing still, head tilted, eyes dark. He laughed it off, but his laptop dinged, a new stream notification. He clicked. It was Alexa, but not. She was sitting in an old radio studio, same as the one from the cursed mirror. Behind her were ancient control boards, dust, cobwebs, and a mirror propped against the back wall, barely visible. She smiled, serene, then said the words that made Jake stop breathing. "This one's for Jake. You've been with me since episode 1, haven't you? Time to come through now." The screen turned black. Then the message. "If you watch it all, you join the call." More viewers tuned in. Some thought it was marketing. Others thought it was art. But the ones who watched till the end, 66 of them, were never seen again. Their online accounts went dead. GPS on their phones stopped updating. But their webcams stayed on, streaming to a channel that didn't exist. If someone found the link, they'd see a grid of 66 dark rooms, one person in each, sitting motionless facing a mirror. Every few minutes, one would stand, turn, and disappear off camera. Then their square would go black. The last thing ever posted to Alexa's channel was a looped clip, her looking directly into the camera. But something was wrong with her eyes. They looked empty, like peeled onions. No irises, no soul. She whispered, "I didn't invite them. You did. Every like, every comment, every time you watched, you let them in. You're the channel now. And the next stream starts when you look in the mirror." Detective Grant Miles didn't believe in ghosts. He believed in facts, patterns, cold trails, and hot leads. But now, he stood in front of the empty apartment of Alexa Lee, influencer, streamer, and the latest name on a growing list of missing persons. 66 others before her, all last seen watching the same cursed stream. He had Alexa's case file, but he also had something more disturbing. Footage from his own house. His daughter, Sadie, 14 years old, had been watching Alexa's content for months. At 2:14 a.m. last night, Sadie's webcam activated on its own. The footage showed her staring into her bedroom mirror, motionless, for nearly 11 minutes. Then, whispering something. Over and over. He enhanced the audio. "I see her. She sees me. I'm almost there." Then her door slammed shut. And she hasn't spoken since. Just stares into reflective surfaces. Smiling. Detective Miles walked into Alexa's apartment. Lights flickered. The power had been off for days, yet her bedroom mirror still glowed faintly. Cold. Like moonlight trapped in glass. He saw something move inside the reflection. A figure, but not his own. A girl. Face blurred. He took a step forward and heard a soft radio static hum. It grew louder the closer he got to the mirror. He called for backup, then noticed something carved into the wall above Alexa's desk. Invisible unless you were at the right angle. He turned his flashlight. Words, etched, shaky, deep. They come through mirrors, but they were made in sound. Miles followed the paper trail. Old subscriber, IPS Alexa's metadata, clues buried in corrupted stream archives. All paths led to a place just outside town. WXR 66, a defunct radio station that had gone silent in the 80s after a series of on-air suicides. According to archived reports, the station ran an experimental frequency test using infrasound, audio waves below human hearing range. They claimed it could cause spiritual experiences, visions, even bridge human thought with signal transmission. It was shut down after 13 employees died, one after another, live, on air, each one staring into the glass of the studio booth before their final breath. Rumors said the last person to broadcast was heard whispering, "There's a woman behind the glass, and she's calling us home." Miles entered WXR 66 alone. The building was cracked open by time, vines grown through drywall, the stench of mildew and rot. Inside the main booth was a dusty mirror, broken and taped back together. He scanned the room. Old tape reels, a giant broadcast antenna unplugged, dust-covered switchboards. Then he noticed something recent. A USB stick jammed into an old mixer, plugged it into his laptop. One file, finalfrequency.mp4. He played it. A low hum began. The image, a dark room, a girl sitting in front of a mirror, long hair, twitching. It wasn't Alexa, it was Sadie. Suddenly, she looked up at the camera and whispered, "Dad." Then something moved in the mirror behind her. A second version of her, smiling wider. A deep voice, synthetic, layered, filled his speakers. "We need a broadcaster. Someone strong. Someone who doesn't believe. You're the perfect host." Back home, Miles found Sadie had vanished. Her bedroom mirror was broken, but her laptop was on, streaming, even though no software was open. The window showed her room from a high corner angle, a view that no camera in the room should have been able to capture. Then, beneath the stream, something terrifying. Viewers watching. 0 viewers absorbed. 72. Next host confirmed. Then, going live in 10 minutes. Miles backed away, until he noticed something new. His own face, appearing in every reflective surface around him. Not just mirrors, windows, a spoon, his phone screen. But the reflection wasn't mirroring him. It was moving ahead of him, reacting before he did, as if it already knew what he was going to do next. He returned to Alexa's channel. He opened developer tools, looked through raw code, and that's when he saw the hidden backend script embedded inside the stream. They'd already chosen him, not because he believed, but because he didn't. That made him a perfect carrier. He realized the stream wasn't meant to be watched. It was meant to be rebroadcasted, passed on, through those who denied it, through those who laughed at it, through skeptics and ghost debunkers. Every person who clicked just to prove it was fake was another infected node. Miles had one option left. He returned to WXR66, rewired the antenna, and started a counter-transmission. His plan: flood the same frequency with white noise, break the loop. He set it live, but as he spoke into the mic, static built behind him, growing louder, denser. He turned to the mirror. This time, it was all of them. Alexa, Sadie, the 70-second others. Behind the glass, pressed together, faces pale and melting into each other, whispering in unison.